Hi everyone, happy Saturday. It's Helen from Heritage Organic Seeds, and today we're going to kick off the One Pot Challenge. The One Pot Challenge is something that we've come up with to encourage more people to have a go at growing their own food and prove that you do not need a lot of space to do so. All you need is a pot, some compost and some seeds. This is the pot that we're using. It's just a really generic pot that we already had in the garden. It's about 40 centimetres in diameter, and I think it was from somewhere like B&M for a few pounds. All we had to do is make sure that we put some drainage holes in the bottom, which we just did with a drill, so really easy. Then we need some compost. This one that we're using, this is an organic compost from Silvergrow. It's peat free, and I've been using this for a few months now, and it's brilliant. I'm in no way affiliated with Silvergrow. It's just a product that I have been using myself and enjoy, so I thought I would share that. And the best thing is it was the same price in the garden centre as the non-organic compost, so it was a no-brainer. So we just need to fill our pot. So there's so many things that you can actually grow in a pot. I think people think that you need a lot of room, but you really don't. Some really easy examples of things that are quick to crop and easy to grow are things like salads, radishes, chards, beans, peas, so many things, tomatoes. There really are so many choices, so yeah, please do try and grow something that you love. I would recommend growing something that you love as well, because you're going to put more effort in if you enjoy it. And just maybe something that's quite expensive in the supermarket. You know, tomatoes can be quite expensive, and I mean, even if you can find them at the moment, I haven't seen tomatoes in the supermarket for weeks now. But it doesn't really concern me too much because it's March, and so tomatoes aren't in season in the UK in March, which means that we're relying on the imports from other countries, which is something we need to move away from as much as possible. But I think it's so important that people learn how to grow their own food just to be able to provide for themselves. I think it's becoming a lost skill. So we've filled our pot with compost, and I'm going to start off the grow with this is what I'm starting with. So we've got some kale. This is our Nero de Toscana. So what I'm hoping with that is that as it grows quite palm-like. If you keep taking the leaves from the bottom, it will keep growing taller, which means we can then keep underplanting with something else. I'm going to go with some spinach, because I love spinach. Have that with so many things. Some radish. Now, radish are really good to grow at this time of year. They will be ready to eat within, I'd say, about a month, under the right conditions, but they're so easy to grow, don't take up too much room. Perfect to get something started now. We're also going to grow some chard. This is our chard fireworks, which is a really colourful chard, and you can just pick the leaves from the sides, a bit like the kale, and add some beautiful colour to your salads, or you can saute it. I do a really nice sort of a chickpea salad with burrata and chard, and yeah, just really nice, bit different. You don't see it in the supermarkets too often. And we're also going to grow some Oregon sugar pod peas, which is like a mange too. So once they get going, I'll put some canes into the pot and then they can climb up there. So let's get started. I'm going to do the peas first, and it's so easy to start to sow your seeds. You literally just take a few, and I'm just going to put these around the edges because of how I know that I'm going to grow them. So that I'm going to put the canes at the side, I think, just on one, maybe sort of a quarter of the pot. So I'm going to plant them probably about that deep and see how they do. So I'm just going to start off with 5 or 6, because if we get too much, we can always pull them out. I'm going to leave those 2 there so I know where I have planted. The next thing I'm going to add is my chard. Chard's really good because it's just so colourful and vibrant, whichever type you get. This is the fireworks, which is a few different colours, sort of reds and pinks and yellows, whatever colour you get. They're just so bright in your garden or allotment. They really do bring some joy. So I'm just going to pop a few. I think I'm going to overseed for now, and then I can always take them out. So I'm just going to pop 6, 4, 5, I'll do one more for luck. They don't need to be too deep, just cover lightly with soil. So yeah, like I say, there's so many things you can grow. Tomatoes are really good in a pot. We have a really good bush variety called Corellic. I'd say it was too early to do your tomatoes outside, but you could start some off in pots. Just pop them on the window ledge at home until they get going, and then once the risk of frost has passed, we can then plant them outside. So what we're doing now, we're doing our radish. This is Cherry Bell, which is a really pretty tiny bulb type, like the ones on the website on the home page. So we're just going to scatter those quite. We don't want them too close because we want them to be able to bulb up. I'm just going to leave a little bit of room in the middle because I'm going to have a go at doing some coriander as well, I think. And I love coriander. I can't get enough of it at the moment. I know some people have a bit of a love it or hate it relationship with coriander, but just the taste, I think it just gives so much zingy freshness to. What did I have? I had it with a curry the other day, and it was beautiful. Just really freshened it up. Do some spinach. So get enough of spinach. We have spinach with everything. Really good in a quiche, just to add some extra greens and nutrients. So I'm going to do those again. They're quite close together. I'll probably pinch some out once they get going. But with the weather still being a little bit cool, you don't know if everything's going to take, so it's better to sow a few extras and pull them out rather than not sow enough and then not work or whatever. And then the next thing I'm going to do is have a kale, the Merrier Toscana kale, which, like I say, looks a bit palm-like. It's a really dark variety, and it's got long, quite thin leaves. Really nice as like kale chips, really nice roasted. Just a beautiful variety. And like I say, as they grow, if you pinch the leaves out from the bottom first, it will keep growing taller, and then you'll have a sort of palm tree like kale plant, which will look really pretty, add a bit of interest. So I'm just going to pop a few of those. Again, I'm over sowing, so you don't want to sow the whole packet. I'll probably only keep one in, maybe 2 to start with, and then as the season progresses and I want to add some other varieties in, I'll probably just take one out and either replant it somewhere else or in another pot, or just enjoy eating it. And then we're going to do a little bit of coriander. Coriander is really good because it's a spice and a herb in one. So as a spice, it's just the seeds that we use and we grind them up, and as the herb, it's obviously the leafy part. So I'm going to do those relatively close together. I'm going to do them in I've left a little bit of room, so we're going to do them in a bit of a line, and then we can just eat from the outside first and then leave a little bit in the middle. So that is really all there is to it. I'm going to pop a little bit of compost on the top of these smaller seeds. I'm going to pop those peas back in because I know where I've sown now. Make sure the seeds are all tamped down so they're touching the soil, and we'll give a light sprinkling of compost just to cover them up. So yeah, things like herbs, salads, all really good for growing in pots because you can just keep picking them and coming back. Basil, once the season gets going, I'm definitely going to do some basil. Make a really thick, bushy basil plant, make your own pesto, add it to homemade pizzas, even just into salads, just for that nice little extra flavour that basil brings. So, just sprinkle a bit of compost. And then we are going to water in. go. So we just want to keep the soil, make sure we keep the soil nice and moist. If it's going to freeze at night, I wouldn't water at night, because all that's going to happen is the water that you've just sprinkled on is just going to freeze and it's not going to help the seeds. But keep an eye on it. I mean, the weather is warming up. I know we've had a cold snap this week. The weather has warmed up so much. I think it was about 10 degrees during the night last night. So if you've got a greenhouse, then great, keep your pot in the greenhouse for a couple more weeks. There's still going to be some more frosts. We're only in the middle of March. I think up here in Cheshire, our last frost is usually about mid-May. There's always a sneaky one around mid-May that catches everybody out. So just keep an eye on the weather. If you don't have a greenhouse, I am going to do the same, just so that you know that you can grow without a greenhouse. What I'm going to do is keep this pot outside. I'm going to cover it up. So I don't really like using plastic. However, this is a bit of plastic that came, you know when you order clothes on the internet and they come in this plastic bag. So I've kept one of those, and I'm just going to put down the side, and I'm going to make my own sort of makeshift greenhouse that I can wrap over the top of the pot. So it's going to be a bit like that. I'm going to pop it over, and that is going to help us add a bit of heat. So I've got these little clips. You could use pegs. I'm just going to clip this plastic cover onto the side of the pot. Pull this back so you can see. Just like so. And what that will do is create a sort of greenhouse effect. So it will add some heat and moisture. It will keep the moisture in because the water can't escape anywhere. It will add a bit of heat just to get your seeds germinating. Once they've germinated, you can take this off. Like I say, unless there's going to be a frost, in which case you might want to add it on. If you've got a bit of fleece, you could always cover it with your fleece. You just want to keep an eye. Once things have germinated, just keep an eye on the weather for the frost. On a nice warm day, I'll probably take this off just to let everything have a bit of air, and then just cover it back up at night when the temperatures get a bit cooler. But you don't need anything fancy. The other thing that I sometimes use as a makeshift greenhouse, not for this particular challenge, but if you're sowing seeds in pots, the little plastic, you know, like the really useful boxes, just a clear plastic box with a lid, pop your pots in there. That's no different to a greenhouse. It's just a smaller scale. So there's so many ways that you can grow your own without spending a lot of money. So I'm going to take this home. I'm going to keep it at home, so it's near the back door, so keep an eye on it all week. I encourage you all to have a go. You don't need to start. Don't worry if you haven't started the challenge today, or if you're not ready, or if you've only just seen it. We're going to do the challenge all year. So everything that I've sown today, things will change. I'll take things out. I'll add things. So it really is something that you can do at any point in the season. Just pick it up. Please do share along your progress with us using the hashtag #TheOnePotChallenge. If you're not sure what to grow, we've got a whole section on the website of suitable seeds under the One Pot Challenge section. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me either on email or on Instagram. The email address is hello@heritageorganicseeds.com, and Instagram is the same handle @heritageorganicseeds, and I'll be more than happy to help you in this challenge. But please share your progress on the hashtag, and we can inspire and help each other along. And yeah, just try and encourage people to growing something at themselves at home, and just to see how creative we can all get. Somebody has already tagged this morning that they're going to try and grow strawberries, which is a great idea. So I'm even thinking with the Montetique peas that they're gonna climb up the canes when I put them in. I'm even wondering if I can do something with a bit of guttering, or add a little pot to the top and maybe add some strawberry runners, because that's something amazing that you can grow in a pot. It doesn't take up too much room, but if you can add the vertical height, then yeah, just another thing you can do. So get creative, have some fun, and just have a go, and let us know how you do. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everybody, and I look forward to seeing what you're all growing.